ThreePlusKei, your favorite social worker. Welcome back. I am here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. And this is the Secret Heart Club, a space where we're honest Christians and talk about our walks with the Lord. And with that, cue the theme song. Welcome to the Secret Heart Club, everyone. Cause they're part to bring love, be love. Hey, we love Jesus at the Secret Heart Club. Ta-da! Hey, Scott. You know what I was doing? Hey, Jackson. I just edited a video, Jackson, from yesterday where I was talking about your anger issues and praying about them, taking them to the Lord and confessing them, repenting of them. Hey, Ben. And asking for forgiveness from the Lord and then from the other person. So I'm curious how that's going to pan out for you in your life. And you know who else I heard from today? Levi. Levi doesn't go by Levi. He goes by Prinzel World is his. He's also on Instagram. But he commented on a bunch of my videos today and just wanted to say hi. So hi from Levi, guys. But tonight, so I am definitely in YouTube land, and there's a YouTube channel called Jubilee Middle Ground, and so they take people from two opposite groups, and those people sit down and have a discussion and talk about their life experiences. And so today was rich men versus poor men. And so I was listening, and it seems I tend to think like in America, you can be whatever it is you're wanting to be. And I think that there's a lot of like hoopla around telling people that they can't be who they want to be, and the people they're telling that they can't be something, they buy into it. I think that that's like a thing. And there is like institutions set up and kind of opposition to succeeding for some groups, but I would always default to, how do you know if you don't try? So the example one of the guys used was having a six-pack, right? Not everyone is capable of achieving a six-pack. Some people are born into better genes where they can get that, but that doesn't mean, like, how do you know that you yourself can't get a six-pack unless you really strive toward that, right? You get a right diet, you get a trainer, you run, you do your cardio, you do your ab work, you do your strength training. And then let's say after like 2 or 3 years, I suppose is fair, and you still don't have a six-pack, maybe it's just not in the cards for you. But we'll never know unless you go full throttle toward that goal. And so it made me think about the free will we have as God's people. And I started looking up scripture that has to do with free will. And the one that kind of I landed on, I don't even know if I queued it up, was Matthew 22:37. There's also one in Proverbs that says something to the effect of, man chooses his plans, but God orders his steps. So we have the free will to like say, I'm going to do this, that, and the other, but ultimately the Lord is in control and knows how that's about to play out. And then if what you're trying to do isn't in his will to begin with, then it might not work out. What you might be doing could be blessed by the devil, right? Like just because you're successful, that doesn't mean it's of God, as we're seeing in the media currently with people going to jail that once upon a time had their Jesus pieces and all their riches. We're seeing a lot of wealthy people go to get incarcerated right now, and that's because their practices and how they live their lives behind closed doors, that was not in the Lord's will. You know who's funding them. So anyway, Matthew 22:37, Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. So when we're talking about free will and I can do whatever I want, the litmus test of what you're doing is God honored in this deed, in this thought, in this activity? And then second, am I serving others? I keep going back to this, like how to think about the desires that you have, like, oh, I want to be a millionaire, or for me, right, I want I want my G-Wagon or whatever. The litmus test for that is, number one, how is God glorified in this desire? Number two, how am I planning on serving others with this desire? And number three, am I myself moving toward this desire? Is my body moving toward this desire that I want? Sometimes we just want things given to us. And I don't think that's God's will for us to just be, it's got to be scriptural. We're not meant to be lazy. Oh, there's something about being a sluggard in Proverbs. A little rest, a little folding of the hands leads to poverty, it says. We're meant to have industry. One of the first things God did with Adam was give him a job, like put him to work, right? And so the Lord was glorified in that. And then to serve his wife Eve, so he was serving someone else in that. You know? Hi, Arham. But yeah, I think the title I had was God is Still Good. And I was just thinking in my own life, like I am no millionaire. I do want to be a millionaire for two reasons. Well, I want $1 million necessarily. First, I would like to start the James House, and that is going to take, the James House is a long-term Christian group home for adolescent boys. To found the James House will take millions of dollars. So that's one reason why I want $1 million. And then the second reason is so that I can have a secure retirement. We're kind of seeing at the moment a lot of, they call them boomers, like people that are aging, going into elderly status, and they're struggling because of a lack of finances. And in some cases, not all, it's a lack of preparation. And I'll tell you, young people in here, I'll tell you this right now, in your like 20s and your teenage years and your 20s, you're going to feel like you can live forever. And most young people don't save and they don't invest while they have the benefit of compound interest on their side. And so I'm really no different. I wanted to be free and spend all my money in my 20s. And so now I'm not anywhere near retirement, but now I'm at a place of thinking toward retirement. And so I would like to get to the $2.5 million that I will need by the time I am 70 years old to retire and retire comfortably at that. So that's what's on my mind. That's what I want money for. But God is still good because I'm still young. I have the opportunity. I'm still young and I live in America. And I keep harping on that because we truly are the land of opportunity. We have so many programs. The town I live in Montana, has the most nonprofits per capita than anywhere else in the United States. So what does that mean? The most nonprofits, a nonprofit is an agency that serves the community in some way. We have more agencies that are serving the community than anywhere else in the United States, including the big cities like LA and New York and Chicago. So I say that to say, particularly where I live, if there's something I want to do, there's a way to do it. Even with this YouTube stuff, I can think of 2 places right off the top of my head where I could go film if I was so inclined. I have my own set in my home, but if I didn't have a set, there are also many opportunities to learn how to film. There's many opportunities. If I wanted somebody to teach me ukulele, I could probably find somebody at a discount to teach me. And so that's where we are in the United States. Like, whatever you want to do, and I'm telling you young people this right now, whatever you want to do, don't make any excuses, especially if you're with the Lord, because man makes the plan and the Lord orders your steps. So you, young people, you go ahead and make your plans and make sure that they're aligned with God's will for you. What does that mean? What you want is glorifying the Lord, and what you want is serving the Lord. And then the third part, or serving others. And the third part is you yourself moving toward it. And then the Lord will decide how it unfolds, how it all unfolds. You might think you want to play piano and you end up being a football player because the Lord is funny that way. So wherever you are in life, God is still good. Whether you're poor or you're rich or you made the football team or you just got dumped or whatever, like, God is in charge. And all things, Romans 8:28, all things will come together for the good of him who believes. Sure that you're that's where I'm telling you, that's where people mess up. They try to go without God. They try to go along their way without God. And it's like, if God's not blessing you, baby, who is? if the Lord is not behind it, who is behind it? That's what people get to talking about when they say like selling your soul and that type of thing. I'm sorry if the internet is a little spotty. I gotta stop doing this to you guys. I upload my videos. So I work a 9 to 5, and then from 5 to 9 I do YouTube, and then 9 to 5 on Saturdays and Sundays I do YouTube as well. And so because I start my work at 5 on YouTube stuff, I edit the videos, and that takes like an hour and a half, and then I have to eat dinner in there. So by the time I'm uploading the videos to YouTube, it's around this time. And so sometimes I go back, and when I'm editing, like this video, I always edit the next day between 5 and 9. But I see where it skips, and the internet kind of goes out because I've got too much going on. I turned my other phone off, so sorry about that if that's what happens. But yeah, this video with the guys, the rich men versus the poor men. And there's this one guy that keeps coming back to like talking about the 1% and how it's all unfair. But if you think about it, like the 1% are billionaires. What would be stopping you from becoming having hundreds of thousands of dollars, for instance? There's nothing stopping you from doing that and being financially secure in your life. You don't need to be a billionaire to be happy. You don't even need to be a millionaire to be happy. If I made 6 figures, like low 6 figures, I would act a whole fool. I wouldn't know what to do with myself because I'm so far from that. What's the Bible verse? Is it not this one that's attached, Matthew 22:37? The real good one that I mentioned, it's like a little folding of the hands induces poverty. I wonder what it is. If you guys Google it before me, let me know. I'm going to type in a little folding of the hands Bible verse. It's Proverbs 24:33. The full verse reads, "Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall the poverty come as one that traveleth." That's hard. Traveleth. "And thy want as an armed man." Let's get this in ESV. This is clearly some King James. Do you guys have a particular interpretation? Oops. That you like? I like ESV. I don't know why. It just seems like easy for me to read. ESV. All right, let's read it again. A lot of people like NIV. I think NIV is pretty good for someone that's new to the Bible. There's other interpretations too, but some I don't like because it's almost as if they're like rewriting it. There's like a simple person's version. I don't know about all that. All right, Proverbs 24:33. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber and want like an armed man. So that means poverty is going to come strong arm you. Hey, bestie. Bestie. So that means when you're trying to do something, when you're trying to tackle your goals, don't be lazy. Don't be a sluggard about it. You'll never know. You'll never know. If you don't try, you'll never know. Like the 6-pack, you can't say you can't get a 6-pack if you don't exercise and strength train consistently for a long period of time. If you don't do all 4 of those things, you can't in good earnestness say you can't get a 6-pack. And so it is with riches, or for you young people, if you want to get on a sports team or something like that, like you can't say that you're being discriminated against if you don't go full throttle toward that goal, and then you didn't make it. Then there could be another explanation. You know what I mean? Oh, it's Levi. Levi's here, guys. He's this life whitest NK. And he's got another one, the Prenzel. Yeah, I was talking about you, Levi. I was saying that you had stopped by and commented. Glad to see you, man. Glad to see you're here. So anyway, yeah. Be grateful for where you are in your life right now. Could be so much worse. You know? I don't know if you guys have ever been hungry before, but like hungry and didn't know where your next meal was coming from. After that has happened, and you have food and you know where your meal is coming from, and you're hungry now, you can have gratitude. I think that all the time. I'm safe. I'm warm. I have so much food. I have people to talk to. I've got you guys. Levi says, I haven't posted in a while. My phone was dead. Do you want to see my favorite squishmallows? What does that mean? I do want to see. I trust you, Levi. I'm curious what a squishmallow. I don't know what a squishmallow is. Sometimes people come on here and you can't answer their questions. But you say, do you want to see my squishmallow? I definitely do. I'm sure it's something really cute. You know? Trying to think. I think it's also in the way of like our goals. It can be easy to be so complacent. And complacent means that you're not necessarily satisfied. You're not necessarily happy about where your life is right now, but you're not doing anything to get out of it. And I think if you're comfortable in life and that's it, I think that that's fine. But if you want more, and you're praying about it, and you think that what it is you want is God glorifying and of service to others, I say go for it. You know? Oops, hold on. every night my phone goes to black and white after 30 minutes. That's a pro tip for you guys that have cell phones. Put a timer on your phone to make it go monochrome so that you're not tempted to like scroll. It keeps you from scrolling because if your color is now black and white on your phone, you're just less likely to want to be on your phone. What do you guys want out of life? I always ask you, nobody ever says it. I think the next thing might be after YouTube. Well, for YouTube, we are moving toward 10,000 subs by my birthday in August. We're making that push to do that. Scott wants a good life. Levi wants a pug. That's really cute. I love pugs. They snore. They snore while they're awake. You know. But yeah, that's what I want in YouTube land. 10,000 subscribers. So hit the subscribe button if you're watching this. And then simultaneously, I'm working toward founding the James House. So it's March now. This is Q1 as far as the creation of the James House. So by the end of the month, I already have my lean business plan. By the end of this month, which will be the end of Q1, I'll have the business plan, and then the first newsletter will go out. And then Q2, which means quarter two, April, May, and June is community outreach. So having meetings with leaders in our Christian community and letting them know my intention for this community to bring about the James House. And again, the James House is a long-term Christian group home for adolescent boys. Somebody asked why adolescent boys, and the reason why. So I knew when I was 12 years old that I did not want to give birth to a baby. that I just was not interested in that. But I also knew that I wanted to be a parent. I also knew I wanted to be a mom. So fast forward to me being 30, I started fostering teen girls. And my intention when I first started fostering was to adopt a little boy. In my mind, from 12 to 30, I was going to adopt a little boy, a little 4-year-old boy, 3 or 4 years old. So I went into the adoption agency and I said, I'm interested in fostering. And I said, great, sign me up for the class. And at the time, I worked at a group home for teen girls. And I was halfway through the classes and they said, hey, listen, we've got this girl, yada, yada. And I said, oh, that's so-and-so, who she's my daughter now, but that's so-and-so. Of course I want to foster her. And so then it was her, and then I have another daughter, and then I did respite for 2 other teenage girls as well. So anyway, I never had a son. And now, all these years later, my life is not really, never say never, right? But I don't feel like my life is set up in this moment to adopt again. Specifically a little 3 or 4-year-old little boy, which is what I set out for in the first place. And so instead of adopting a little boy, I'm creating the James House, which is a Christian long-term group home for adolescent boys. And that's the story of why a group home for boys. and teenagers, because it's kind of a last ditch effort. Like, I always say 18 years old is the great equalizer. On everybody's 18th birthday, we all have a super sad story about how horrible our childhoods were. So what does it look like to capture that 14 to 17 or 13 to 17-year-old age group and give them solid mentorship, biblical tutelage, a premium education? What does it look like to take a young man in the foster care system and give him all of the trappings of a wealthy adolescent boy? What does that look like? And so, I mean, we'll see what those outcomes look like, but that's the plan. So that's what the James House is. And God willing, we'll start the first round of fundraising toward the end of this year. But part of it, that's part of why this channel exists, and Pursue the Smile, the brand, exists to fund the James House. So everything's kind of looking toward that. And then, you know, if I make enough to retire from my job as a social worker, that would be icing on the cake, because then I could put all of my energy and efforts toward the James House. Whereas right now it's really a part-time thing. I'm a full-time social worker already. So the goal would kind of be to transition to being a social worker for the James House. And then kind of how you plant churches. In my vision is multiple James Houses. So this would be James House, Montana, and then there would be a James House, Illinois, a James House, Florida, a James House. So that's kind of like that's more of like a God willing thing. And I've been saying it. The day that the James House opens, it will be completely a God thing, because it would have come from a napkin idea and $0 to being fully funded and self-sustaining financially. From nothing to like an enterprise. I think it'll be such an amazing testimony to like the grandiosity of who the Lord is, right? Because we know God is good. We know God is good, but do we dare? How many of us dare to be like, think the impossible, the undoable, the miracles? Do you know what I mean? Like, we say we believe that God can do miracles, but do we really believe it? Do you know what I mean? You're not God, Levi. Sorry to tell you, my guy. Sorry to tell you, my guy. Yeah, but I believe in God. Well, you're in the right place. I help people. Scott, I know you do. You're what I call a good guy. You're a good guy. Yeah, the James House will be a miracle. Because right now, I don't know how it's going to take. What I'm attempting to do is get an entire community of Christians and non-Christians alike to rally behind the creation of a group home, and for people to volunteer at it, like dedicate their time and resources to it, you know. And one thing I said, I thought that I've had a couple of non-Christians try to sway me away from creating the James House, but overwhelmingly I have been shocked that the Christian factor of the group home, no one's really batted an eye at it. And I kind of joke, it's as if helping kids is a non-bipartisan issue. People just want to see a quality group home come to fruition, and they don't seem to mind at all. Unbelievers don't seem to mind at all that it's a biblically based group home. I'm flabbergasted, to be honest. But yeah, still got to go toward it, like that 6-pack. We'll never know. We'll never know if it was meant to be, if I just sit here and do nothing and just talk about it all day, right? I have the free will to make this happen. Like nobody's really stopping me. I've had 2 people try to discourage me, but it's like I always say, the unbelievers will announce themselves. You know, I have no packs. I don't know. I think I'm too old to like, yeah, I don't think I'm interested in having a 6-pack. I am interested in being strong. The way I describe it is like a superhero. I want to be strong. I want to be like, you guys are too young for this, but there used to be a superhero called She-Ra. So you think like Wonder Woman? She-Ra was just like Wonder Woman, except she was her own woman. I, in my mind, want to be like She-Ra, just like strong and kind. I don't know what that means, Levi. I thought Thor was like, I'm not even gonna, I don't know what Thor is. Is she a Sigma? Somebody taught me what a Sigma, somebody said Jesus is a Sigma. I'm not really sure what that means. It's a god. Oh, here we go with the skibbity. If there are any adults on this live, never look up skibbity toilet. I'm going to save you the time because I got curious what this skibbity thing was. I looked it up and it's 5 minutes of my life I will never get back. And so I warn adults who hear about this skibbity stuff. It's skibbity toilet. Don't look at it. It's just mind. They call it like brain rot. It's just silliness. You know. But what does Sigma mean? You can educate us old people in here. I was talking to my friend the other day about Beavis and Butthead. And like I never understood that either. And she said it wasn't for the girls. Beavis and Butthead was for the boys. I was like, all right. Like being Rizzy means you get girls. She-Ra didn't. Sigma is a Chad with more features. It means you get girls, and it means Rizzy. I don't know. I don't know. I want to encourage you guys. I'm going to hop off here in a few minutes, but Just want to encourage you guys tonight when you get off of here, or you can put it in the chat, the many ways that God is still good in your life that you can recognize. And it could be the obvious things like you've got food in the fridge and heat in your house, or I once managed these 2 group homes, and the owner was a nurse too. And so she's seen all sorts of medical stuff, right? And she said every morning, do it with me, hold your pinkies up. Hold your pinkies up. She said every morning she would put her feet down, and she would just wiggle her pinky. Wiggle your pinkies. And that alone, because there's people who don't have pinkies, there's people who don't have hands, there's people who have arthritis, and just not even having the use of your pinky can impact how you handle things, how you grip things. She said every morning she wakes up, she wiggles her pinky to remind herself to be grateful for the little things that she has going on in her life. And even so, like, I've got some pain in my hip, right? And I'm like, definitely, I've known a few people, they're older than me, but a few people who've had hip replacements or knee replacements. And it's like, praise God, I could still run. And even I used to be morbidly obese, and now I'm not. Like, I can run now. I'm so pleased about that. I'm grateful for my cell phone, that I can communicate with my kids and people that I love. Without my cell phone, I would be isolated. I'm so grateful for that. You know, I work all the time. I just told you, I work 9 to 9. And to be honest, I work past 9 every day. You know, I'm grateful, not to sound sappy, but I'm grateful for you guys. Especially you guys that come in every day, Ben and Levi and Bestie and Scott and Jackson and JoJo, Scarlett. Man, I'm really grateful because this started, I was so sad. And now there's like a little community and people pop in. I'm so incredibly grateful. I'm grateful I have 3,243 subscribers. Oh, and Gianni, right, Gianni. I have thousands of people that thought enough about my content that they took the extra step to subscribe. I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for Ben, who told me to, I don't know if Ben remembers, but he told me to get a set. I used to, like where I'm at right now, I used to read children's books facing the wall, and he was like, you should get like a background. And so I did that, right? And then I had friends kind of like donate, like they sent me pictures and stuff, which are in there. I'm really grateful for my YouTube family. I'm really grateful for the Secret Heart Club, guys. So I mean that. I love you guys. You guys are great. All right, I gotta go. It's time for a little bit of Bible study. I wonder if my videos uploaded. They did. So I'll do that afterward. And yeah, I am 3+Kei. I'm your favorite social worker. I'm here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. And I'll talk to you guys later. See you tomorrow.